You know, if you look up these days, the skies are getting pretty crowded. From casual hobbyists flying in the park to massive commercial operations, we are dealing with a totally unprecedented challenge for restricted airspace. In this explainer, we're diving straight into the rapidly escalating, honestly mind-blowing technological arms race designed to take down rogue drones.
It's a massive problem for modern security, right? So we really have to ask ourselves, how do you actually stop a rogue drone? What exactly happens when an unstoppable, potentially dangerous piece of tech just cruises right under restricted airspace? And more importantly, how do we bring it down safely without causing huge collateral damage? As you'll see, every time drone tech levels up, the counterweapons have to get even crazier. So today, we are going to trace the wild timeline of this technological war. We're going all the way from invisible, consumer-level radio disruptions right up to literal science fiction-style 300-kilowatt military lasers. Let's get into it.
Let's start with Phase 1, the invisible signal war.
Okay, so first up, we have devices like the Drone Defender. These are incredibly effective against your average consumer drone. How? Well, they work by actively jamming the most popular radio frequencies, specifically 433, 2.4, and 5.8 gigahertz. If you activate this thing within its 1-mile effective range, you completely strip away the drone's ability to use its pre-programmed waypoints. Plus, there's a separate trigger to disrupt its GPS, which stops that automatic return home safety protocol. Boom! The target is completely immobilized in the sky.
But here's the thing. Out in the field, portability is absolutely everything. While the Drone Defender is great, it weighs a really bulky 15 pounds. Now contrast that with the Mark III. This thing is a compact, battery-powered, one-handed solution that weighs just 4 pounds. It's a massive leap for operators on the move, covering multiple frequency bands all at once to basically blind the drone and force it into a vertical, controlled landing.
Then, the tech gets even stealthier with devices like the Drone Buster. The whole idea here is to work completely beyond the line of sight. It actually uses an integrated RF power meter and analyzer to literally sniff out control signals and telemetry data. This means security teams can blind and disable rogue drones even in pitch black or super low visibility conditions without ever even visually spotting the target.
Pretty wild, right? But here is the fatal flaw with all these invisible signal jammers. Enter SLAM. That stands for Simultaneous Localization and Mapping. Cutting-edge drones like the Helios 3 use onboard LiDAR to create 3D maps of their surroundings in real time. They don't need GPS anymore, they fly completely self-guided. So those RF jammers we just talked about, they're trying to disrupt a signal the drone isn't even looking for anymore. The second a drone flies autonomously, those jammers become totally outdated.
Which brings us to Phase 2. Physical traps and nets.
So the crucial point is, if we can't jam their signals, you have to literally rip them out of the sky. This brings us to kinetic weapons, like the Skywall system. Whether handheld or permanently installed, this beast uses compressed air to forcefully launch a physical net and instantly tangle a drone's motors. It even has a smart scope to automatically compensate for speed and range. The catch? The handheld launcher weighs 22 pounds and only reaches a couple hundred feet, so a smart pilot can just fly higher, easily evading the net and basically taunting the operator on the ground.
To solve that exact range issue, engineers came up with the Interceptor, and this thing is crazy. It actually flies right up to its target using this wild kamikaze-style mechanism. Check this out. Its onboard camera locks on, and then its own motors literally detach to aggressively propel the net forward. And to make sure it doesn't just destroy itself after this intense encounter, the Interceptor deploys its own parachute so it can safely float back down to the ground.
But wait, that leaves us with a massive headache, the falling debris problem. Think about it. Dropping a tangled, heavy mass of plastic, lithium batteries, and a net straight out of the sky onto a crowded street or a busy highway, that is incredibly dangerous. It's totally counterintuitive. We desperately need a safer way to do this.
So, to find a safer takedown method, we take a completely bizarre pivot to Phase 3, nature's anti-drone weapon. Believe it or not, people tried using birds of prey. And sure, eagles offer this lightning-fast, biological precision. They can grab small drones right out of midair without dropping them, but they require constant, highly expensive obedience training. And the bigger problem? As commercial drones get larger and heavier, they pose a massive, unacceptable physical danger to the birds. It's a fascinating idea, but you're definitely not going to see an army of eagles defending a major airport anytime soon. It's just too niche.
So, we are left with a pretty high-stakes conundrum. If invisible signals fail,
If nets create dangerous falling debris, and if eagles can't scale up to handle modern drones, what actually works? What's the ultimate payoff that solves all of these flaws at once?
Welcome to Phase 4, the sci-fi future, lasers.
Just look at this number, 100 kilowatts. That is a staggering amount of focused energy. It's the baseline power of Lockheed Martin's new solid-state laser, called the LLD, and it's basically the absolute minimum threshold you need to instantly burn right through incoming mortars and small drones in midair.
But because this tech is evolving at breakneck speed, they aren't stopping there. In just a decade, things have moved so fast that they are already actively testing massive 300-kilowatt lasers. At that kind of wattage, you are literally instantly melting through the vital components of heavy drones from miles and miles away. It's incredible.
There really is no stopping a directed energy weapon. I mean, they travel at the literal speed of light. And because these new variants are solid state, meaning they run entirely on electricity instead of bulky, dangerous chemical fuels, they can be bundled together to scale up to massive wattages. Experts absolutely believe that if powered properly, these weapons are destined to be mounted on our next-generation fighters to take down not just drones, but incoming missiles too.
So let's bring it all together. As automation continues to advance, making drones entirely independent, mapping their own environments without GPS, and rendering signal jammers completely useless, you really have to wonder, will these science fiction, military-grade lasers end up being the absolute only real line of defense we have left to secure our skies? It's a wild thought, but it's where we're headed.